podcast. This is episode 4, I believe. I'm Darian,
I'm Mike.
and we're going to do week 3 picks today. We're going to break down the games for this weekend. So we're going to start with tonight's game. It is New York Jets at Cleveland Browns, Thursday Night Football. I don't know about this game. This game has potential to be really interesting or really, really uninteresting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If the Jets play how they played week 1 and the Browns played how they played like the first half of week 1 and most of week 2, except the end, then it could be very, very interesting. I think these are two teams that just don't have a lot of talent, but they do have some good pieces. I like Sam Darnold. He looks pretty good. He's making rookie mistakes, but he doesn't look like he's a bust. I mean, it's early, but I don't want to overreact or underreact, but I think he's good. I know I overreacted early in the season when I said that they might make the playoffs, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. This game I think is going to be real interesting. I'm going to cut to the chase with my pick because I don't know. I think they're pretty equal, but I'm going to take Cleveland because they're in Cleveland. What do you think about this game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've covered pretty much everything. There's not really a whole lot to say about this game in particular.
Right.
But, well, I mean, it's the Jets and the Browns, man. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. The Browns are definitely more talented on paper.
Yeah, I think so too, especially defensively.
But Hugh Jackson is the coach, and Hugh Jackson's either really good or really bad.
I think he's really bad, personally.
Well, it just varies day to day, week to week, minute to minute, hour to hour. Yeah, that sounds like a song. I'm just going to pick the Browns. I don't really have a lot to say. Neither team really inspires much confidence in me, but I figure the Browns have been close 2 weeks in a row. They should have won last week. They should have won the week before. And so are they going to keep Browning, or are they going to pull one out this week? I think the Browns win this one.
Yeah, I think so too. So mark that one down. You're keeping tab, right?
Yep.
All right, awesome. What do you have as the next game?
I got the Saints at the Falcons.
Yeah, this one. What do you think about this game? This is interesting. Divisional matchup. First time these guys are going to play each other this year. What do you think?
Well, since they're playing in Atlanta seemed like they woke up a little bit last week.
They did.
And they don't have a lot of injuries. I mean, Tack McKinley's kind of got a groin injury, but not terrible. Freeman, but they've got, they got Tevin Coleman and they got Ito Smith, so they've got some guys that can cover that. Now, of course, we covered, their Deion Jones and Keanu Neal things, but and then you got the Saints, right? The Saints, who were supposed to be so much improved on the defensive side of the ball, everybody thought earlier this year, and then they've given up, plenty of points.
Yeah, 1 million yards and 1 million points. They have good players. I don't know why they're not good on defense, but I mean, to be fair, they were 0-2 last year with a really bad defense, and then they turned it around, So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they made the playoffs, so. But, yeah, this game's interesting. I mean, Devontae Freeman's still probably going to be out. But they had that kid Smith who was running with Tevin Coleman. I don't know his first name. Do you know it by
Ito.
Yeah, Ito Smith he looked really good. Like they looked like a really good duo, and I think Tevin Coleman can be a lead back. So they definitely pretty much beat up Carolina for the most part in that game. The score was closer than the game actually was because I actually watched most of that game last week. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Falcons here because I think what you said about they finally woke up in week 2 because they had like the red zone issues in week 1 against Philly that they had last year, but they didn't really have that issue at all last week against Carolina, and I think Carolina has a pretty decent defense too. It's not against this Saints defense who we haven't really seen much playmaking or much ability to stop anybody. Whether it be Tampa Bay or Cleveland. I'm going to take Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta too. I think they've kind of figured out a little bit of what their red zone issues were late last year and early this year, and they're at home. If they were in New Orleans, I might take the Saints, but they're not, so I won't. So I'm taking the Falcons too. Are we going to do this whole pick the same team thing, the whole thing here again?
I don't know. We'll see how far we go. What do you have? What's the next game?
Packers at Washington Redskins.
You want to take this one first?
No, go ahead.
Oh, not interested in this one, huh? So I actually thought week 1, Washington was going to be a really good team, even before they beat the Cardinals down. But it kind of seems like after watching just an uninspired team last week against the Colts in the Redskins, they pretty much just they couldn't do anything against the Colts last week. Who I don't think the Colts, I'm not sure they're a great team anyway, so that's kind of worrisome. I don't know what to expect from these Redskins team. I don't know if they're good or if they're bad or if they're kind of like a bipolar team. I'm not sure. So I think we'll get a good look at how they match up against Green Bay this week. But even though it's in Washington in D.C., and even though Aaron Rodgers is probably still going to be on one leg, I'm taking Green Bay. By the way, do we think Aaron Rodgers has a torn ACL? And he's just playing on it like Phillip Rivers did in the playoffs that one year?
Nah.
You sure? Are we sure?
I'm not anything.
I don't know, man. I have a feeling
he doesn't move like a guy who's got an ACL.
Yeah.
Unless it's really, really, really minor.
Did you see any of the Green Bay Minnesota game last week?
Yeah.
Okay, did you see he wasn't putting any pressure on it for when he throws, at all.
Yeah, but I saw him sprint out of the pocket a couple times.
Okay, maybe I didn't see that. I don't know. I was watching it on Red Zone.
Yeah, there was a couple times he got some pressure and come up the middle, and so he kind of sprinted out to the side, and even one time ran out of bounds for a 2 or 3 yard gain.
Okay.
So now that being said, he doesn't look healthy. I mean, but he was, those are the kind of things you don't want to do is have to twist and spin with an ACL, and he was doing them.
Yeah. What does that sound, by the way?
What sound?
That really loud crinkling that you did for 30 seconds just now.
That was me opening a fortune cookie.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, so I don't know. I just think Aaron Rodgers is better than anybody else on either side of the ball in that game. And if he can even survive at all the whole game, basically like he did against that Minnesota defense last week, even though they tied, I think they're going to win. Because I think he's that good, which is pretty absurd to say, but I think it's true. So, who do you got in that one?
Yeah, same thing. It's going to be the Aaron Rodgers show. I think there's there's not a lot of new injuries that came up, this past weekend in relation to what they had.
Right.
So that's I'm just going to go with the Packers as well. I kind of agree. I thought Washington was going to be better than they have shown so far.
Right.
Maybe they're not all on the same page yet with Alex Smith or whatever, but I don't trust Washington at all.
Yeah, I don't either. All right, so we're gonna do let's see what's next. Indianapolis Colts at Philadelphia Eagles. So Carson Wentz is supposed to be back for this game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
He's practicing and starting.
Yeah, I honestly think they were waiting as long as they could with Nick Foles basically saying let's see how far we can get with him, and if we feel like it's kind of gone off the rails before it does, we'll put him in. And they kind of, honestly, they if Atlanta could have done anything in the red zone week 1, they'd be 0-2, the Eagles, because they were such an uninspired offense that week, and they just did not look good against Tampa Bay this week either in week 2. So,
well, nobody looks good playing Tampa Bay.
Right, we'll get to them later. But they don't look like the Super Bowl team that they were, 7 months ago or whatever it was. So, I don't know. I think Carson Wentz coming back in his first game since he tore his ACL in December of last year is going to be really interesting. I think this game is going to come down to defense because I actually think if he's really healthy, or if he can play like he's healthy, Carson Wentz and Andrew Luck are pretty close in talent. I think they're both really, really, really good. And I think it might be kind of a high scoring game. So whichever defense forces a turnover is probably going to be, or wins the turnover battle, I should say. Whichever team wins the turnover battle will probably win. So I'm thinking it's going to be Philadelphia, but I'm taking the Colts.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Being sneaky.
Well, sorry, I want to say one more thing. The Colts, pretty much, pardon my language, they kicked the Redskins' ass last week. They really did, up and down the field on both sides of the ball. And they should have been 0-2 they should be 2-0 because they were marching week 1, like I said this last week, against Cincinnati. And Jack Doyle, just last drive of the game, Jack Doyle fumbles it, and then it's returned by one of the safeties for Cincinnati for a touchdown, and that was just a clincher because there was no time left. But they were marching, and it felt like they were going to score because Andrew Luck was dropping dime after dime, and the tight end just, fumbled it and threw the game away. But I think the Colts are actually a pretty good team. Like, I think they're going to probably, I don't know if they're
careful.
I know. I keep forgetting Jacksonville's in that division. I know. But I think they have a good shot to make the playoffs. I'll say that for sure. And I believe that in the AFC. So, as like a 5th seed. I don't know, though. The AFC West is going to be tricky. So, we'll see. But, yeah, I'm taking the Colts.
I got the Eagles.
Yeah, I just don't know what to expect from Carson Wentz in his first game back.
I do because he's getting Jordan Matthews back, too. They just re-signed him today.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
I think that that'll be a comfortable person that he's used to throwing to, and I think that'll be good enough. I think the Eagles defense will step back up, and I got the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yay, go Eagles.
The Eagles.
So next we have my Survivor Pool game. The Bills at the Vikings.
Just pick up against the Buffalo Bills all year and you'll win. Yeah.
That's the current plan.
It's yeah. Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about this game. Vikings just signed Dan Bailey a couple days ago, who was cut by the Cowboys.
Yep.
The kicker, and he's like, I think he's like the second most accurate kicker of all time or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and he's already turned down 4 other gigs this year because he wanted to go to a team.
Yeah, to the right team
that was going to be a contender. He didn't want to. He turned down. I don't remember who.
He turned down Cleveland, right? I think.
No, he didn't turn down Cleveland. I don't think they offered, but he turned down, I think, Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was the Jets or Giants, but it was a team on the way out on the East Coast, and
yeah,
he's like, nah,
no thanks. But I'll go play indoors in Minnesota and on a good team and wear purple.
And wear purple.
Yeah. I like the Vikings jerseys. I've always think they're cool.
I like their helmets.
I've always thought they were cool. Their helmets are cool too. No, we're not uniform hall monitors now though. Like Dave Damashek. You ever heard him say that, by the way?
Nope.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious. All right, off topic. Sorry. This game, there's just not a lot to talk about. I mean, Vontae Davis for the Bills retired at halftime last week, which was insane. That was the story of the week. I thought it was insane. The Bills have 0-16 potential. I really think they do. I'm not sure if there's a team in the NFL that they could beat.
I don't think they'll go 0-16 because they have to play the Jets twice.
Yeah, but the Jets will probably whoop their ass once, and then the other time can probably squeak out a close one.
I just think that they've got a shot if they're playing the Jets.
I mean, that's fair. It's totally fair. I know what you're saying. Or maybe they play like very, very last week of the season against New England, and maybe New England benches everybody for some reason. Like maybe they're, you know what I mean? Maybe something like that, but yeah.
I don't think they can beat the backup Patriots.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but and I know it, like we've talked about this before. It's really hard to go 0-16. You gotta be like a special.
You gotta be committed to it.
Yeah, like Hugh Jackson is. Sorry. I just think he's so bad as a head coach now. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about this game. That's why I've been sidetracked 3 times while I've been talking about it. Minnesota by like 30, I think, because Buffalo's just not good, and it's in Minnesota. So.
Yep. I'm not even gonna Not even going to bother talking about it. I got the Vikings as well.
Yeah, by a lot. So
now we've got the 2-0 Miami Dolphins hosting the 0-2 Oakland Raiders. This game, I don't even know where to begin with the Raiders, but that could be a whole 2-hour long pod in and of itself.
Yeah, it really could.
Well, it's like they're, I don't know, they're turning into the Browns or something. Every time they almost get ready to surprise you with a win you don't think they're going to get, then they make sure they don't get it.
Can I offer us an opinion as to why?
You can offer an opinion as to why. But you better be careful though, because I know where you live.
He's a Raider fan, folks. I think maybe the game has just passed John Gruden by. I just don't think he's like. I just think. I mean, he's been out of coaching for 15 years, and he wasn't successful the last few years that he was a coach.
So okay. See,
I knew
now this could become a whole nother podcast, but I'm just gonna leave it to say that right now. So let's not get this twisted. Gruden is an offensive coach and a head coach, but he's an offensive coach. They're currently 10th in the league in offense, 8th in passing. Okay, I mean, the offense isn't the problem. The defense isn't even really the problem. The problem is just the wrong thing happens at the wrong time. We had, for example, last week, right, playing the Broncos in Denver. They won that game because we flat out couldn't get any substitute. Well, the Raiders couldn't get any substitutions on the field at the end of the game. However, what everybody neglects to remember is that there was this dude, number 41, Mr. Smith, the fullback, who came out into the flat and hit on a 4th and 1, 3 yards across the line of scrimmage, and had a perfect little pass in his hands that he dropped. If he gets that, game over. They run the clock out. They win.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like they went in there and got dominated by Denver. Carr threw for the highest completion percentage in the history of football for anybody who's thrown 30 or more passes.
Right.
Ever.
Right. No, I'm not saying they're a bad team. I just think that they're a bad. No, I'm not even say bad, but a not greatly coached team. Not great.
But I would like to see some evidence of that, other than the fact that they've lost one game when they shouldn't have lost, and another game where they pretty much controlled the team that everybody says is going to win the Super Bowl for the first half, and then in the second half, they lost both their defensive tackles and were playing defensive ends against defensive tackles.
You're referencing the Rams week 1, right? Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were fine in that game for the first 3 quarters, and then all hell broke loose because they couldn't mount a pass rush because they lost 3 of their starting linemen.
And they no offense, and I'm not trying to, but they also traded their best player before that.
Hey, you know what team leads the NFL in sacks right now?
Who?
Let's take a quick peek. See, I actually knew the answer to this question, and I just had a brain fart. So let me look real fast. The answer to that question.
Let me guess first.
Okay.
Cincinnati.
Nope.
Who is it?
Huh?
Why are you singing?
Because I was waiting to see if you had any other guesses.
No. Oh, sorry. No. I said who is it? You must not have heard me. Yeah. So I was guessing Cincinnati. I was wrong. Who is it?
Well, actually, this changed because they changed one of the rulings. It was a tie between Chicago and Dallas yesterday. So, anyways. So the 2 teams that lead the NFL in sacks, one of them's 0-2 and the other one's 1-1.
Right.
So sacks are not.
No, I don't think they are. I'm just saying you said that they lost a pass rush, and that's a big reason why. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's take the Rams for example. How many? So the Browns have 10. We're getting way off topic, but this is real quick. The Browns got 10. The Cowboys got 9.
Right.
How many do you think the Rams have? They're 2-0.
6.
2. How many do the Chiefs got, you think? They're 2-0.
Not a lot, because I know A, they don't have a good defense, and B, they've just been in shootouts both weeks.
2.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, they only got 4. Jacksonville's only got 4.
Right.
You know, the sacks are not indicative of anything, and now pressuring the quarterback is.
I totally agree with what you're saying about sacks. I'm not, like, I mean, a couple years ago, Chandler Jones, when he was traded to the Cardinals, led the league in sacks, and they were like an 8-win team, weren't they, or something?
I don't know. It was last year, 18.5 sacks.
Yeah, exactly. I think they won literally 8 games last year.
Yeah, could be. But my point on the overall grand scheme of things with that whole Mac thing is, since you brought it up, and I'm going to just finish this real quick so we can move along and make our picks. The thing about that whole situation is the Raiders have 29 players. Their contracts are up at the end of this year.
Right.
Okay, 29 guys. So if they sign, and they've got, I think they would have had $60 million in cap space next year. So if they sign Mac for $24 million a year, that leaves them $37 million or $36 million to sign 28 other guys.
No, I understand that. You and I have talked both a little
Yeah.
bit on the podcast and off of it about this, and I understand where you're coming
Everybody
from.
says, why don't you sign Mac? You could have signed Mac. Well, we could have signed Mac, and then they would have had to come and sign my old ass, your slow ass, and everybody else to play defense because they ain't got no more money left. You just can't do it. The only reason why the Bears are going to be hurting if Trubisky doesn't win big before his contract's up, they're going to be in a pickle because they ain't going to be able to do it. Right. That's all the players that have big name money contracts all have their quarterbacks on rookie deals.
No, I mean,
anybody who's that's just the way it is.
I agree that Seattle was dominant when they had Russell Wilson on his rookie deal.
Mm-hmm. And now they got to pay people. And now how's Seattle? They suck ass.
Exactly. We've said ass a lot in this pod.
I should stop saying that. So, anyways,
by the way, I just want to point out.
Yep.
15 minutes through. And it's okay if whoever's listening to this is because we're off topic anyway. We're through. We went through 5 games in 15 minutes, and the Raiders took us 5 minutes alone, and I knew they would. So I just wanted to point that out. It's all good though.
So all that being said, they're playing in Miami. Supposed to be hot, and of course it's Miami, so it'll be humid, and it's rainy and showers.
And it's also West Coast team going East Coast, like you said, 1:00 game, and it's against the first. We should mention first place AFC East. Miami Dolphins alone in the first place, which doesn't really mean anything right now, but they look pretty good.
Yeah, that won't last.
I don't think so either, but they look good.
I'm picking the Raiders. I'm going to keep picking them until they win.
Hey,
and then they'll be 0-16, and we'll get a number 1 draft choice.
I love it. And then you can get another Khalil Mack.
There won't be another Khalil Mack, but there sure is a Mr. Bosa that's waiting to be drafted.
Yeah,
who's allegedly better than his brother.
That's what I've heard as well. So that'll be interesting.
I'd be just fine with that. We'll take that Bears pick and take our pick and trade up if we need to.
Okay, let's get off the Raiders.
Problem solved, baby. Now we got somebody who's as good as potentially Mac for a quarter of the money.
So you have to trade him again. Okay, please, let's stop. I'm taking Miami because they're at home. They're 2-0. Week 1, I wasn't sure about them because they had that 8-hour game against Tennessee.
Yeah, it was hard to figure out what they were doing.
Either team was hard to gauge that week, honestly.
Yeah. Everybody gets heated up, cooled down, and you just don't know what's going on.
You're just sitting in the freaking locker room for 2.5 hours. Like, you're not high. Like, it's the whole adrenaline. Everything's just weird. But they looked pretty good in that game, and they looked pretty good against the Jets last week. I'm taking Miami at home, man. 3-0.
All right. Now we got I'll be nice. The Broncos going to play Baltimore.
I hate both these teams, honestly.
1:00. I don't hate both those teams. I just hate the Broncos.
I hate them both.
So there's a couple different things going on in this game, right? So apparently the Raiders took a little bit of work on Keenum's knee.
I saw that today.
His knee's a little banged up, right? And then knocked the snot out of Eldair, so he's out with a concussion. And then, they've got a bunch of other injuries, too. They've got a slew of injuries going on. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, the Ravens have just as many. C.J. Mosley's hurt. Of course, Kenneth Dixon's out.
Right.
There's a bunch of guys that are banged up pretty well on that side of the ball.
Yeah.
But one person who's not is Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Mr. Joe Flacco. Oh, God.
Mr. Joe Flacco. Their offense, the Ravens are 8th in the league in offense, 7th in passing.
Yeah,
their defense is number 2.
Right, they've looked pretty good overall, and Like, they obviously destroyed Buffalo, which I expect from a team that's supposed to be good. If you can beat down on a bad team, that's what you're supposed to do. And against Cincinnati, honestly, they had a really, really rough start defensively, but they pretty much came on in the whole, like, near the end of the second quarter of that Thursday night game last week. Throughout pretty much the rest of the game in the second half, they kind of came on. They couldn't really make up the deficit that they dug for themselves because I think it was like 28-7 or 28-3 or some crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so like they really just dug too much of a hole for themselves to ever come back from that game. But they looked like they were like, oh wait, we're actually playing. Like let's stop screwing around. Let's actually do this because it's the game started. And that was it was just weird. But they've had a long week off because, like I said, they played last Thursday, so they've had a few extra days to prepare for this game. It's going to be in Baltimore, another almost West Coast team. I mean, they're in Colorado, it's not super West Coast, but it's western part of the United States going east at 1 o'clock. And Case Keenum, by the way, we should say, Pro Football Talks reporting, he is going to miss some practice, but he's likely to play. Case Keenum, but I'm taking Denver because I actually think Denver might be good, or at least relatively good. Not like really, really good, but I actually think they're good because I think their defense, for the most part, is playing up to what they haven't been, let's just say, the last year. I'm not saying what their potential is because I think that they can be way better, but last year, even the defense wasn't good, and I'm pretty sure it's because they realized they didn't have a shot with the quarterbacks that they had. And they were just like, what's the point, honestly? I'm not going to say they quit because I don't think they did, but I don't think that defense was as, like, their hearts were in it as much as they could have been because they think they knew what their ceiling was as an offense. And they were always out there, by the way. Like, they were always on the field. So I think Denver's going to win this game. It's going to be super close, though. And I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore wins, but I'm just trying to be edgy here and take Denver because I think they have a real shot.
So they beat a lousy team in Seattle. Not playing in Seattle, but against Seattle.
Right.
Barely beat them at home by 3. And then they barely beat a quote-unquote terrible team in the Raiders.
I don't think the Raiders are terrible.
They're 0-2.
Yeah, but I think they're average. I don't think they're terrible.
Nonetheless, my personal opinion is the Broncos are not a 2-0 team. They are 2-0 currently, but they're not a 2-0 team.
That's fair. I mean, I get what you mean because some people say you are what your record says you are, but that's not always the case, as we know.
Yeah, because Miami is not going to win the AFC East.
No, I don't think so either. I was just saying they're in first place. I don't think they'll win it either, but I think Miami's gonna win 10 games. I'll say that, but we're off topic. But I get what you're saying. I just think that Denver is good enough to be able to squeak out some wins and get 8 or 9, 10 wins like how they've got their first 2. I think that's gonna help because they're not gonna destroy anybody. I don't think unless they're playing Buffalo sometime this year. Or Arizona or something. But, like, I just think that they're good enough where they can squeak by teams like this if they have to.
Yeah, I don't. I'm taking the Ravens. I'm taking the Ravens because both the games that the Broncos won barely were at home a mile above sea level, and that is an advantage.
Right.
So basically, all things equal, every home team gets a 3-point advantage. Right. That's kind of just the unwritten rule, right? So in Denver, I would presume that'd probably be closer to like a 6-point advantage.
Right.
If that's the case, they would have lost both their games because they won both. They won one game by 3, and then last week they only won by. What did they win by last week? 2.
Something like that. It was really close.
No, 1.
1.
Yeah, that's right. 1 because Donald Penn fell over on a friggin' point axe. Oh, Jesus. I got the Ravens. I got the Ravens by at least 13.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm picking Denver, but regardless of who wins that game, it's going to be by less than 7. That's what I think. All right, let's go to the let's go to the next game. Cincinnati Bengals at Carolina Panthers. What do you think about this game? How do you feel?
I think it's going to be really hot and humid in Carolina. Is what I think about this game.
Yeah, it's going to be ugly.
I don't think I don't think Carolina's got the mojo to stop the Cincinnati Bengals offense. To be quite frank with you, they've got lots. I mean, Olsen, Matt Khalil, Trey Turner's got a concussion now.
Right.
There's just a lot of stuff going on in Carolina, and then on the other side, Cincinnati. They did lose Joe Mixon.
They did, and they did lose Joe Mixon, but I still like Giovanni Bernard. I'm going to say that. I've always liked him, and to be fair, they should be 1-1 because, like I was saying earlier, Jack Doyle doesn't fumble that that pass. The Colts beat them. I really do believe that week 1. So I don't know. Both these teams have
Keith
looked
Smith
so
doesn't
different.
drop that pass. The Broncos are 1-1.
Yeah, well, if Bill Belichick goes for it on 4th and 1 in the second quarter and the Patriots don't get blown out and against Jacksonville last week, I don't know. But both these teams, the interesting thing about both these teams, because I actually think both the Bengals and Panthers are interesting teams to watch each week this year. Both of their 2 games that they've each played were so different. Like, Carolina beat Dallas's ass pretty much, but then they really couldn't do a lot against Atlanta week 2. And same thing with Cincinnati. They were in the fight with Indianapolis week 1, but they ultimately and they actually won it, but they really could have lost it and they probably should have. But they pretty much handled Baltimore for the most part in week 2. So I don't know what to expect. I feel like they're just 2 teams that are gonna come on when they want to and then go off when they want to, and it's gonna be a real schizophrenic thing for both of them. And by the way, 2 weeks in, my Cam Newton MVP pick not looking so hot right now. Not looking great. So he's got a. So with that in mind, I'm picking Carolina because I need him to throw 5 touchdowns and get this stuff kick-started.
Got to get it going, huh?
Yeah, but no, I actually I don't know, man. I'm so close with who I actually want to take in this game. I think I'm probably going to take Cincinnati because I think they're closer to what their record is than Carolina. Because Carolina, I think Dallas is really bad.
Yes, sir.
And they beat them by not a lot either. They didn't really do a lot because that front line kind of beat up Cam a little bit. I'm taking. I don't even know. I'm taking Cincinnati.
Okay, it's locked in.
Who you take?
Let's move along to the battle of the 0-2s.
You didn't tell me who you were taking.
Bengals.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep, Bengals. Moving ahead to the battle of the 0-2 teams. The New York Giants playing at the Houston Texans. Oh, where do we go with this game?
The trash.
Poor Eli. Well, at least the Giants have a decent defense, but that's all they got.
Well, and with that being said, I'm going to cut to the chase on this one because I don't have a lot to say, and I'm not going to watch this game. I'm going to try to avoid this game at all costs and just pretend that it's not even happening because it's just going to be ugly football. I think it's going to be like it's going to be like 16 to 3 or like 13 or something weird. Like, it's going to be an ugly game with a lot of field goals probably. Giants, even though they're away in Houston, they've got to win a game at some point because they're not going to go 0-16. And Houston's really, really, really not good. The only thing that they have going for them is J.J. Watt, who kind of still can't really get into his old self yet, which is going to take some time, and DeAndre Hopkins. That's all they have. Everything else, I'm not convinced of at all is any good. Their quarterback, their offensive line, their defense, I'm just not sold. So I'm taking Houston. Or, I'm sorry, New York. I said I'm taking Houston.
I'm like, you can't do that to me.
I know. I'm staring at their logo. I'm taking Giants for sure on that one.
I got the Texans, the number 1 running attack in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yep, I'm taking the Texans. They were within a touchdown of the Patriots. They were within a field goal of the Titans. I think they'll beat the Giants. Plus, they're at home. It's the Giants. I mean, everybody beats the Giants. Speaking of Titans are the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Oh, did I mark down my pick? I did. Texans. You picked the Giants. Okay. The Titans and the Jaguars. Do you really think Tennessee's got a shot in this one?
Is Marcus Mariota going to play? Do we know?
I don't know if he is or is not, but I do know that Leonard Fournette is going to play.
Yeah. They didn't really need him last week against New England.
Well, they will because now TJ Yeldon's out.
That's not good.
Well, he's not out. He's questionable.
Well, so right now, Marcus Mariota is questionable with the elbow. He's day to day. That's all. Yep. That's all I've got. Intel wise for him. I think Tennessee has a shot. Yes. More than we actually probably believe that they do, because I think they are low key a frisky team. But I just think Jacksonville's rolling right now. I think they're on. Blake Bortles just shredded that New England defense last week, and the defense pretty much locked up everybody on that Patriot offense too. For the most part, they didn't stifle them, but they kept a decent New England defense in check for pretty much a whole game. So aside from like one or two drives, so I'm taking Jacksonville there just because I trust them. They're at home, and they've got some swag right now to their game.
Okay, yeah, I have Jacksonville as well. I don't think with all the injuries the Titans have, I think they've just lost too many of their important guys.
Right.
And without knowing what's going to happen with Mariota, I got Jacksonville by double digits.
Yeah, maybe 10, maybe 8, 7, something like that. But I agree with you. You have anything else to say about that game, or we can move on?
Nope.
All right, cool. I just don't think that game's going to be very interesting, to be honest with you. 49ers at Chiefs. Ugh. This has both teams scoring 30 points potential, again, which was pretty much every week for the Chiefs, because Patrick Mahomes looks like a god for the first 2 weeks, and their defense looks like whatever the opposite of a god is, like trash, just terrible. He's looked awesome, Mahomes, but he's gonna have to stay awesome if they're gonna win, if they're gonna keep winning, because man, they can't stop anybody.
Dude, no, they cannot. They cannot stop anybody
at all. And Garoppolo can, he can move the ball, he can score, so he's gonna probably turn it over a couple times, but maybe throw a pick or two, but he's still gonna put up some points. They have it each week, and man, I'm taking the Chiefs because I don't think the Niners defense has remotely enough to stop Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. I don't see a way for them to stop them this week. But man, I'm worried about the Chiefs long term, because who are they going to stop? You know what I mean?
Well, who's going to stop them?
Well, I agree with that, but if anybody gets hurt, or if Patrick Mahomes starts coming back down to earth at all, and throwing some picks or anything, or just not throwing at least 4 touchdowns a week, which is pretty freaking crazy, they're going to be in trouble. That's all I'm saying. But this week, I think they're good still. I think even if you threw 2 touchdowns, I think they could win this game. But
yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Chiefs too. I just don't. 49ers are 21st in offense, 23rd in defense, 26th in passing.
Yeah.
And they're 3rd in running the ball, but they're going up against the team that's 6th on offense, 9th in passing, and 10th in rushing.
Right.
So they can run the ball, but you can't run the ball when you're down by 35.
Nope.
I think the Chiefs have got that one wrapped up fairly easily.
Yeah, because
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say one last thing about the Niners, because I agree with everything you said about the Chiefs. I just think the Niners are playing kind of above their potential these first few weeks, and I don't think they're actually, their roster's not as good as they've been playing. So I'm just going to say that, and I'll let it go. And I think a big reason why is because of Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo both, because I think they're both really, really, really fit for what their positions are. I think I like them both as a tandem. There's just no way they hang on with the Chiefs. So what do you have as the next game?
The Battle of L.A.
The Chargers. The
Chargers. And the Lambs.
The Rams. This game has high scoring potential also, but it also has blowout potential because the Rams could just destroy the Chargers. It just kind of depends. I don't know, man. The Rams have looked pretty much, aside from like the first half of Week 1, they've pretty much looked unstoppable. So
Yeah.
I don't know. The Chargers have a really good offense though. Like Melvin Gordon was crazy last week. Keenan Allen is my guy. You know that. Mike Williams had a touchdown last week. He looks pretty good. They still got Antonio Gates for the red zone. They re-signed him, before the season started or whatever. Chargers have a good offense. They just don't have a great defense. The Chargers' defense to me is like the Saints' defense. They have a lot of good guys who just aren't putting it on the field. And I also think that they're really missing Joey Bosa, who's still not healthy. So,
well, I mean, the Chargers' defense isn't terrible.
It's not terrible. That's what I'm saying. They're talented. They got torched by KC Week 1, and they destroyed Buffalo Week 2, and then gave up garbage time points, which I don't blame anybody for. So that's fine. But I just don't know, man. I don't know. But then again, everyone's destroying Buffalo, and everyone's getting torched by Kansas City. So that's not a great sample size of defense either,
Right. I mean, currently
this will be the good test if they're facing Jared Goff and Brandon Cooks, Todd Gurley, all these guys. So if they can hold the Rams like 21 points even, I'd be pretty surprised.
Okay, so 3rd in offense versus 7th in offense, 9th in defense versus 3rd in defense, 3rd in passing versus 10th in passing, 12th in rushing versus 13th in rushing.
Really? Also, you gotta stop with the clicking.
Yeah. So the Chargers of 4 of offensive, defensive, passing, and rushing, the Chargers are ahead of the Rams in every category except defense. And they're only 9th as opposed to 3rd.
All right. I wanted to pick the Chargers before we started talking about this. I just couldn't do it, but you've convinced me. Chargers. I'm serious.
San Diego, formerly Chirp Superchargers.
The artist formerly known as Phillip Rivers is going to win that game.
I got the Rams.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I didn't know that they were that close statistically. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, they are literally neck and neck.
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, they are neck and neck. The only downside the Chargers had going for them was they had to play the Chiefs Week 1.
Yeah, exactly. And
that was it,
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm taking Chargers because I wanted to anyway, and you've convinced me. So.
Well, I'm sorry I just caused you to make a bad decision.
I don't think it's a bad decision. I
don't think it is. I don't think it is either. It really depends on which team shows up hotter first.
On defense, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think both are going to score. So whoever can stop someone first, I think is going to win the game.
Right. So, okay, here we go.
God, do we have to talk about this game?
No, we can just pick if you want and skip it.
Seattle.
I'm taking the Seahawks too.
Yeah, Cowboys at Seahawks, and I'm sorry if my friend Coulter is listening. He's a huge Cowboys fan. They're just not good, man. They're just not good. The Cowboys are not good. Their offensive line being bad, being injured, makes them bad because that's what's going on with them. It really matters for this team, like a lot. Like they can't do their power run with Ezekiel Elliott as effective as it was, and Dak Prescott with the vanilla play calling that they're getting from what's his name, Scott Linehan, right?
Linehan. Oh wait, yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
The offensive coordinator, him and Jason Garrett. They call like the basic Madden plays for him. I wouldn't be surprised if they printed out Madden play calling and literally have it I wouldn't be surprised if they called plays like 4 verticals for him. And I'm not saying this isn't about, huh?
I was just gonna say, it's terrible.
It is, and that's not a reflection, by the way, on Dak Prescott. I just think that the coaches in Dallas are garbage. I really do, and I have thought that for a long time, and it's not going to change this year. So whenever someone decides to dethrone Jason Garrett, however you can just do it because he's so awful in my opinion, Please do it because there's no hope for this team until they fix that. And
so you got Seahawks.
Yeah, and it's in Seattle, so I'm taking them because Seattle at least looked competitive against Denver. I mean, who did they? Oh, they played Chicago on Monday night. They looked semi-competitive in that game too. I saw the highlights. I didn't watch the whole game, but I mean, even though they lost, they looked competitive, and Dallas hasn't really looked competitive to me at all.
Which is hilarious because Dallas has a win.
Yeah,
and
but
to me, they're clearly they're clearly the less good team.
Yeah, they're yeah. I agree completely. So I just
okay.
Yeah, please get me off this game. Oh God,
yes.
Get me off the next one too. Oh my God, wow.
I choose the Bears. I don't even want to talk about this game.
I'm just looking real quick before we go on this. I just want to mention there's only 3 4 o'clock games this week, and thank God that CBS is going to have Chargers Rams because it's the Cowboys Seahawks game and on Fox, and it's the Bears at Cardinals. And wow, if I had to watch either of those games until the Sunday night game, I don't know what I would do because that's insane. The Bears aren't that fun to watch, in my opinion.
I would watch curling.
I love curling. I would do that anyway.
So do I.
You know curling's awesome. No, you know curling's awesome. Shouts to curling.
Is awesome.
Shouts to curling. I would watch racquetball. No, I wouldn't. I'm just kidding. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna take Bears because the Cardinals have not proven to be an NFL team yet this year, and I don't think they are. No offense, I just don't think they are. So David Johnson, they're actually so bad that they've made David Johnson look bad, which is crazy to me because he's not, and I know he's not.
Check this out: offense 32nd, defense 30th, passing 32nd, rushing 31st.
Dude, they're terrible.
They're terrible. Now watch.
Is Steve Wilkes, by the way, Steve Wilkes the first coach to get fired this year? Do you think? Or if Hugh Jackson loses on Thursday night, do you think he gets canned? 0-1 or 0-2-1. Which one lose? Or Matt? Like, man, I just don't know, man. I
think it's going to be Matt Patricia.
I was about to say him next, but we're going to talk about him next because he's our Sunday night game. But
wait, yeah. So here's the thing. This is what scares me.
About this,
and you know damn well this could happen too.
About this Bears Cardinals game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam Bradford gets rolled up on in the third snap of the game. Josh Rosen comes in and leads them to 48 points.
Yeah, dude, if it happens, I'd just be happy for him, for the whole team. I wouldn't be okay with losing that pick because at least they're out of Sam Bradford hell.
Yeah, so I already know who you're picking, so I already wrote it down.
Yeah, Chicago. I'm like I said, picking against Buffalo and Arizona and probably Detroit all season long.
Did you know? As a side note, there was 390,000 people in the Survivor Pick'em pool, and after 2 weeks, it's down to 120,000. They've already lost 270,000 people.
That's because everyone took New Orleans, who got their ass beat by Tampa week 1, and B, everyone took Philly, who got their ass beat by Tampa week 2.
Or New England.
No, if anyone took New England against Jacksonville week 2, they're an idiot because that's a pick'em. No offense to anybody out there who did it.
But I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out there that...
Yeah, but if you took... Then you must not be watching the Patriots like I watch the Patriots because I was as confident as I could be without feeling overly confident. Like, I felt like they could win that game, but once it actually started, I was like, ooh, I don't know if they're going to win this game.
So this is amazing to me.
What?
So now that we've talked about Matt Patricia getting fired, being on the hot seat, and the Patriots, let's go to the next game.
Yeah, okay. That's what I want to make sure we're on the Sunday Night Football. New England in Detroit. The protege the protege comes home, even though New England's going there. Whatever. Matt Patricia versus Bill Belichick for battle of who has a worse defense right now.
Not so much.
I know.
Not so much. The funny thing is take offense, defense, and passing, and the Lions are ranked ahead of the Patriots in all 3 of those.
Well, that makes me sad.
The only thing that the Patriots haven't beat is they're ranked 19th in rushing, and the Lions are 20th because I don't know what these dudes do with their running backs, but it's where running backs go to die is Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, my God, like that's so true.
I did not know that. So offense got the Patriots 20th, and the Lions 11th. Defense, Patriots 28th, and the Lions 16th. Passing, the Patriots 18th, and the Lions 6th.
Yeah.
I was very unaware of said activity. I don't pay attention to Detroit a whole lot.
I tried not to because I knew Matt Patricia was not going to be a good head coach.
Yeah, but now they do have a few issues, right? Darius Slay's week to week, Zeke's still week to week, TJ Lang's week to week. I don't know what happened with New England if they've got. Oh yeah, Trey Flowers got concussed.
Trey
Mr.
Flowers,
Chung got concussed.
Patrick Chung both left the first half with concussions.
Marcus Cannon is questionable, status uncertain.
He'll play though. Marcus Cannon will play.
Just be a little hobbly.
They got Sony Michel back for the first time as of last week, and he looked okay. He didn't play a lot, but he looked okay. They also, we should mention, traded for Josh Gordon, who will play.
Yes.
So now, how many snaps will he play is a different story because he could play one series and just not play anymore. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this game other than New England's going to blow them out.
What do I do? In the famous words of Darian, they got to win sometime.
Who, Detroit?
Yeah.
I'm not sure they have to win sometime. I'm not sure that they do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the Patriots on this one. I wouldn't be surprised though. This is a weird game.
No, it's not. I would be shocked. I'm telling you right now.
I would be shocked.
No, I'm telling you right now. Hold on, because this is how serious I am. We're gonna veer off. We've been doing good time-wise on this pod. We only have one more game after this, so I'm breaking this down real quick. This is the Detroit Lions schedule, okay? Blown out week 1 by the Jets by 31 points in Detroit, which is probably what's going to happen Sunday night against New England, by the way. Scored and kind of kept up with San Francisco in San Francisco week 2, but still lost by 3. Still give up 30 points. So then week 3, we've got Sunday Night Football, New England. So you tell me what we think win-loss wise, okay? So New England, probably a loss. In Dallas, after that, that's the first game that I think that they might be able to win is week 4. But who knows if Dallas is healthier by then on the offensive line, then that's over too. But we'll see. Green Bay week 5, that's a loss. In Miami, week 7, because they have their bye week 6, I'd say that's a loss. Week 8 against Seattle in Detroit, I don't know, man. That might be a loss too. They could win that game though. They absolutely could win that game. Then you got in week 9 in Minnesota, that's a loss. In Chicago, week 10, it's winnable, but I just don't see it. They've got Carolina at home. Who knows how Carolina will be come November. Hopefully they'll have it on track and they'll look good. Then they've got, but I'm looking down the schedule. They got Chicago again. Then they got the Rams at home, which that's a loss. But then they've got 2 road games, week 14 and 15, where they could get some wins. It's in Arizona and in Buffalo. And then they close out the year with Vikings-Packers. But, I mean, they're going to be a 3-4 win team, man. They're just not good. I don't think they're good at all. I don't even think their roster is that good, personally. And I don't think Matt Patricia's a good head coach. And I told myself before we did this, I wasn't going to rant about him, but I think he's not good at being a head coach. I don't even think he's a good defensive coordinator. He never was. The only thing that he ever did in New England worth anything was we had a top scoring defense a couple times. And is that him or is that Belichick? You know what I mean? Like, what is... I don't know, man. I'm sorry that I ranted about Matt Patricia. I'm glad it's at the end of the podcast and hopefully no one's listening, but he's garbage. And I'm sorry that I had to say it, but I had to.
Steelers at Tampa Bay, the battle of the teams that can score and not stop anybody.
That was really funny. I want to know what you think about this game. What do you think? No Le'Veon Bell still, probably, right?
No, it's Wednesday and he didn't show up.
Yeah.
I don't really care, though. James Conner's holding his own just fine.
Yeah, I agree. So we can skip that. I just wanted to point it out for anyone who was curious. Did Pittsburgh lose anybody? So Joe Hayden's likely to play. Antonio Brown's got a little calf thing, but he's questionable, but he's likely to play. They might not have their guard David DeCastro with that hand injury.
Yeah, they didn't have him last week either.
Right, exactly. So he might still be out. I don't know. Who are you taking in this game? How do you feel about this game? Do we think Fitzmagic is real, or do we think it was a fluke against two teams that maybe just weren't ready and maybe underestimated them?
Well, the problem is that, and this has always been the problem, Fitzmagic is real until it's not.
Right.
And you never know when it's going to suddenly become not.
When the clock strikes midnight is when it comes real or unreal.
Yeah, but I mean, how are the Steelers going to stop them?
They're not.
How are they going to stop them? They don't have a pass rush to speak of, really.
No, they don't at all.
Joe Hayden's, he's questionable, says he's likely to play, but, a hamstring can go boing at any given moment.
Right.
They're 25th in defense, but then Tampa. So here's the thing. Pittsburgh, number 2 in offense. Tampa Bay, number 1 in offense. Pittsburgh, 25 on defense. Tampa Bay, 31st in defense. Passing, Pittsburgh's number 2. Tampa Bay is number 1. Rushing, 20 and 27th. So, they're so evenly matched and suck at the same things. I'm going to just have to give it to Tampa Bay because it's in Tampa Bay. It's at night. It's still expected to be 91. It's going to be humid as hell. And I see the Steelers getting cramps in the fourth quarter from chasing receivers all over the damn field.
Yeah, sweating their ass off. And Fitzpatrick's wearing Gucci flip-flops wearing Gucci slides on the and looking like Conor McGregor in the postgame again. And throwing 5 touchdowns on Pittsburgh because he can. And Mike Evans has 3, and Cameron Brate has 1, and Deshaun Jackson has 1.
Yeah, first play of the game last week, 75-yard bomb to D-Jax.
Yeah, and then the first play of, the second half or the next drive or something like that, he threw another 75-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Yep. Yeah, by the way, if I didn't make it clear, Tampa Bay. I'm picking Tampa Bay. I was always going to pick Tampa Bay, and I'm picking them by 14.
Yeah, I think there's a much...
They're a better roster, I think, than Pittsburgh.
I don't know about that, but I just know that they've got it all put together right now.
Yeah.
Much better than Pittsburgh.
I think they're a better roster. And I can't
opinion.
believe that Dirk Cutter is coaching a good team, but it may not matter right now who the coach is because I think that they're just so good. And Chris Wessling was talking about this. He did the wide receiver power rankings, for the groups, who has the best wide receiver core. He had Tampa Bay number 1. And I can't argue with that. Mike Evans is sick. Then he's got Deshaun Jackson in there. You got Adam Humphries. You got, they got O.J. Howard. And they've got Cameron Brate. They've got 2 really good tight ends. They have a lot of weapons. They don't really have a running back, but they haven't really needed one. Because they've just been throwing it. Peyton Barber, I think, is their leading rusher. And he's not that great. But they just haven't needed a running back, at all. It's been insane. They don't run the ball, really. They just throw it.
Yep. Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard. That's who the other 75-yarder to was, O.J. Howard.
Yeah, it was. O.J. Howard.
Adam Humphries, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Deshaun.
I think Chris Godwin had a touchdown, too, last week, didn't he?
Yep, they're loaded.
Huh?
They're loaded.
Yeah, they are. That's what I'm saying. They're actually good. They just have a quarterback now who is screw it. I'll throw the ball 75 yards and see if I either get picked off or score a touchdown, and it's just working. They haven't really had that in a while, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They just, because Jameis Winston usually throws a pick. So I have 2 questions about this game. Because this game actually, before we end this podcast, we're at the end. We've done good. We're coming in just under an hour. So I just want to ask you 2 things. One, if Pittsburgh loses this game, is Mike Tomlin in serious jeopardy of losing his job?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to know. And 2, if Tampa Bay wins this game, is Jameis Winston in serious jeopardy of getting traded?
Yes.
Okay. And who would even trade for him, though? Who do you think would trade for Jameis Winston? Maybe, the Giants? So just to have him as a backup for when maybe Eli's going to retire? Or maybe, who do you think? Because I can't really find a team right now that, actively needs a quarterback who isn't working towards something. I guess you could put him in Arizona if you still don't want to play Josh Rosen, although I just don't know why you wouldn't play Josh Rosen. So I don't know where you'd put him.
Buffalo.
You gonna give up on Josh Allen already, though?
No, but they didn't want to play Josh Allen. But Nathan Peterman is a steaming pile.
I know he's trash. So, okay, Buffalo's fair. I mean, I can see Buffalo. I just think like he's got to beat out Josh Allen, which I'm not sure he can. He probably will, but you never know.
Well, but here's the thing, right? And I'm not saying this about you specifically. This is a generality that I'm going to use. People think sometimes that NFL teams are always trying to win all the time, and granted, they are. But there's more of a, okay. So I don't know. So the thing is, if I'm Buffalo and somebody says, "Hey, we'll give you Jameis Winston for like a 4,"
right?
I'm like, okay, well, 4th rounders are kind of coin tosses, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do that.
So yeah, I could do a 4. I'll do a 4, and then say that means we can sit Josh Allen again, let him learn, blah 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 blah. But then the flip side of this is maybe they just keep Jameis on the bench, and when his contract's up, just let him go because they may not get anybody that wants to trade because he is suspended for being an idiot.
Yeah, and he's had problems in the past. He hasn't been that great of a quarterback. I mean, he's been fine, but he's not. I mean, he's also getting. By the way, he's getting sued by the Uber driver that he had the incident with, who got him suspended. He's being sued by her now. So that seems like he actually probably did something really wrong. Like sometimes you never know if it's like a cash grab type thing. I don't want to get into all that and all that problematic stuff, but I just want to say I actually think he did something wrong this time. I really do. And
right.
And I mean, he's okay. And I get that they haven't been the best roster, but 45 games, and as a starter, he's 18-27.
Yeah.
He's I don't think he's a winner. I don't think he is. Not in the NFL, at least. I don't know. That sounds weird to say, but I'm just not sure he's the guy. So I don't know who would trade for him personally. That's the thing. Maybe Buffalo. Buffalo and Arizona are the 2 teams I could think of that could just add him just to add him. But I don't know. I don't even know, man. Maybe Houston if they wanted him as a backup, or like I said, the Giants if they wanted him as a backup. But maybe the Raiders need a backup. I don't know because they got AJ McCarron, but I don't know if they like him. So I don't know. But I just wanted to talk about that real quick because it's super interesting to me and I don't know, man. I think they got to ride. And who was it this week? Who was the Tampa Bay receiver who said that they got to ride the Fitzpatrick magic whatever wave? Even
I'm pretty sure it was D-Jax that said that.
It was. Thank you. Yeah, it was Deshaun Jackson who said even if Jameis Winston comes back, if we're still rolling with Ryan Fitzpatrick, we got to keep him. And I agree with that. You don't take out a guy who's hot.
You can't.
No, hell no. So. You absolutely don't do that, especially with a guy who's usually never hot. So,
and see, right? So yeah. As a little caveat to that, right? If you've got
Aaron Rodgers coming back,
right? You got Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I mean, if you've got like a clear cut dude,
right,
who's proven year in and year out that he's good, that's one thing. But if you've got somebody like
if you have Joe Flacco and he's out. And Lamar Jackson throws for as many touchdowns as Patrick Mahomes was, like as he has the first 2 weeks. You wouldn't take him out.
I'm
saying if Lamar Jackson played like Patrick Mahomes has these 2 weeks, you wouldn't take him out. If you did, you'd be insane. He's thrown 10 touchdowns and no picks in 2 weeks. That's insane.
Yeah, that'll change.
I agree with that, but I'm just giving you a sample size.
But what I'm saying about the Mahomes thing is, it'll drastically change.
I agree. I don't think it's going to stay this way either. I don't think he's on pace for 84 touchdowns or some crazy ass number like that. It's not happening.
No, I bet you he doesn't even get 40.
No,
which somebody gets every year.
He's not going to get 35.
And I bet you he throws more than 12 picks.
I think right about 10, 12 is a good number for him. But yeah, we're off topic.
Again,
but it's the end of the podcast.
That's what we should have named the podcast.
Off topic.
The off topic podcast.
Oh God, rebranding time maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, really. So anyway, I got the Buccaneers on this one. You got the Buccaneers on this
Yeah.
one. We only differ, I think, in probably 4 picks, maybe.
Yeah,
and I will continue to pick the Raiders until they win.
Amen.
Hopefully, I am the curse that keeps that from happening, so we can end up with the number 1 overall pick next year.
God, like LeVar Ball said, speak it into existence, baby.
That's right. And then I just got to pray that something happens with the Bears and they start finding ways to lose games too. I'd love to have 2 top 5 picks.
I could see it. I'm not gonna say it's possible, or impossible. I just. The Bears?
Yeah, the Bears aren't great.
No, they're not. They're just
you know what I mean. So
okay.
they potentially can lose.
The Bears are okay.
Yeah, they're like the Raiders. They can lose any week.
Yeah, I agree.
But they should win. What's really probably going to happen is both teams are going to end up somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 8 wins each. Yeah. Is what I'm thinking.
I agree.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. Now, that being said, maybe Trubisky starts catching fire, and they start getting some of their guys healthy and whatnot, and
right.
They come on. And the same thing could be said for the Raiders. Maybe they start gelling and they start getting their guys back, and maybe they both win 9 games or something. But neither one of these teams are a double-digit win team unless something strange happens.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
by the way, one last thing, because I want your pick. Who do you have winning the AFC North?
The AFC North.
I got Cincinnati.
Yeah. I'd have to go with Cincinnati too because they're only going to get better in a few weeks when all the people they got that are suspended come back.
Yeah, exactly. And if it's not them, it's going to be Baltimore. I don't think Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's tied for third too, because they literally tied with Cleveland. And I don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh, but I just don't think they're that good right now.
I would concur with that statement.
That's why I asked about the hot seat Tomlin thing, because I personally have never been sold on him as a coach anyway, at all. So.
Well, he's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl. I've never been sold on him either. So.
And yet he still has a job 18 years later.
Jason Garrett has one too. So. It's some crazy stuff happening in the NFL, man. Some crazy stuff. So those old owners don't like change. Not if they can help it, at least. All right. Well, I think this was a pretty good pod. Hour and 8 minutes, not bad. So, all right. Well, we'll probably come back next week and talk either Tuesday or Wednesday. Have some topics from week 2 or week 3, and so on and so forth, and see if we can come up with some interesting storylines to jibber jabber about for a little while.
Jibber jabber.
Yep. All right. Well, so again, I'm Darian. That's Mike. This is the 108.1 FNFB podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Toodaloo.